suffocates, whisper in the hall, where justice wears a mask and truth begins to fall. Every thread they pull, every lie they weave, in the courtroom's dance, who's left to believe? Oh, the devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end. The devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end in sight. A photograph fades where the truth once stood. Blurred lines between the bad and the good. The scales they tilt with every silver tongue, while the broken cry for a song unsung. Black robes sway like shadows on the wall. One wrong word and the mighty fall. Who's a sinner? Who's a saint? The jury's out, but the verdict's faint. Oh, the devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end. The devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end in sight.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to know why I'm here today? It's not because I want to give you a pep talk or because I want to make you feel good about yourselves. No, I'm here to tell you the truth.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's going to be that kind of night. That is what I'm talking about. Let me tell you what. Let's first see if we have any audio. Give me a 1 in the room if you have audio. I will tell you a bit about the cluster that's going on at my house and explain a few things. But yeah, okay, yay. So live from the West Coast of the United States, it is Saturday night, and it's a clusterfuck going on over here. So just to let you know, for some reason, about 2 hours before showtime, I found out I had been logged out of all of my web browsers. Everything had forgotten me. Everything wants me to re-sign in. It's probably a bad sign. I've probably been hacked or something like that, but every browser forgot me. Everything forgot me. StreamYard, which I used to broadcast, forgot me. It forgot lots of stuff. And then I signed into the wrong account, and I'm a clusterfuck. And I'm processing a funny video, or at least I want it to be funny, for you in the background, and it's sucking the life out of my system resources because it takes a lot to render video and audio, and so that slowed down my audio. And then when I came on stage, guess what? I wasn't on stage, Robin was on stage, and then Estes was on stage, and then good Lord. And right now, it says, I just went from having like 30 people here to nobody in. Did everybody literally just closed down or we have other technical difficulties. I'm going to bring up my panelists because right now it says nobody's watching the feed, like 0. And that would be not possible. So what do we have going on now? Are we even live anywhere? Because it shows nobody's watching.
Yeah, I see like one person watching. Okay, Cat Farm and everybody can still see us, I guess.
It says 1 for me. It says 0 people watching. What a cluster. Is it possible we only have 1 person watching us? Like
No, there's a bunch of people in the chat. So
wow, what a cluster. I told you, this is a complete and utter clusterfuck going on right now. Can I get a 1 from everybody who's still here just to see that? Because it says, it's okay. I'm getting it. It says 0 people are watching. So there you go. We have no idea what's going on. Estes, can I hear you? Are you there? How's your sound?
Sound is good so far, dude. Yes.
Oh, good. I just got a 1. I went from 0.
Did I hear a delay?
There might be a little delay. I don't know. Well, here's the good news. We have 1s going in the room. So I'm just going to pretend like there's thousands of people watching. We're prime time, baby. Everybody and their dogs here, even if it tells me only 1 person's watching. I have seriously no idea what's going on with tonight's show. It's not a good start. I need to check in a minute.
They better not all be watching Nancy Grace and Ashley Banfield.
That's probably what's happening. Everybody's watching Nancy Grace. Well, first of all, Amanda B., thanks for coming in and being first here. Cat Farm is welcome. By the way, Cat Farm, I'm going to feature a song by Cat Farm. Remember, Cat Farm put together Pretty Much. Cat Farm's been doing some other music. I'm going to air a Saturday night special. Maybe on Saturday nights we'll always air a new song or something like that. Maybe we'll make a tradition out of it. I don't know. But I have a new song to air tonight. It looks like there's delay everywhere. Are you there, Robin? Are you getting live?
yeah. No,
okay.
I'm here.
Yeah, it shows nobody watching, but I know that is not the case. So let's go through some hellos again. Penny didn't make it first. I think to be here first, Amanda beat you by about 3 hours. So I don't know what Amanda's doing, but Amanda is really on top of the ball, signing in hours ahead of time. It's becoming kind of an inside joke. Essie, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming as always. Robin, of course, is on stage with me. I'm looking in here just to people in the name. Of course, Jason Estes. I think Joe from State of the Deep is going to join us. I'm pretty sure 1-1 is still sick, right? Is he going to make it tonight?
Yeah, I don't believe we'll see 1-1. He's still pretty sick. He's a little better, but I think he's still pretty sick, poor guy. Yeah, and I think Robin, between you and I, we're gonna have to get in the habit of just calling him by his nickname, because one of these nights I'm gonna slip and say his damn name on live, and I'll be like, "Fuck it, we did it live." But I'm getting too comfortable. I'm getting too comfortable calling everybody by real names, and I realize that some people we don't want to do that for. So I think we're just gonna have to start just calling him 1-1, because otherwise I'm gonna slip up. Yep. What? Why did I call? What I call him? Did I call him 1-1?
Yeah. Don't say what else you could have called him. Don't do what I was about to do.
I was like, wait a minute, what'd I say?
Yeah. All right. So let's see what else do we have here in the show. I'm just looking off to the side. Got Rhonda in the house, of course, like literally in the house. Also in the house on chat.
The lovely Rhonda.
Skull March. Is it Skull March or Marchy? Welcome. I recognize that name, but apparently I've never tried to pronounce it before. How that's embarrassing. Anyways, what else do we have? Dina Seitz, that's a regular. Thank you so much for coming tonight, hanging out with us on a Saturday night. Anybody else? And people aren't really giving us their locations too much anymore. R.S. Layton in the house as well. Grammy T, thank you for coming in. Love to see Grammy T here. And who else do we have? Curious Cat, not Cat's Mojo, but Curious Cat. Cat Farm. We got a lot of cats in the house tonight. Bianca Jane, that seems like a new name. Very cool. Nana Gallegos, or Gallegos. Or I'm going to mispronounce that no matter how many times I try to do it, so I'll just stop doing that. Curious Cat is in the house. Wave.ether or ether. That's cool. B Randy, just looking through some names. Wow, there's names in here I've not wrote. Candy and Chris, or Candy Chris. Lots of names in here that are kind of newer names to me. So very cool. I love it. I love it. And then what do we got? S and Ray. Oh, that's a long ass thing, and I know I'm going to select. So there's probably a abbreviated with Karen Folquez. Boy, these names can be hard when they're all run together because you got to figure out where to put the emphasis on the right syllable. Let's see. And we got somebody else join us backstage. So it looks like Joe from State of the Deep has just joined us backstage. So we're going to have a good panel.
Nice.
By the way, it is a great night on Saturday nights to do a round table. Call-in show. So if you're out there chomping at the bit to get on YouTube on some people's 65 or 85-inch screen, because that's possible. That's the crazy part. You might put yourself on here, and then you might be on somebody's freaking 85-inch screen in their front living room. So that would be weird, right? I try not to think about that shit. It gives me stage fright. I got performance anxiety. Wow, what is this one? Scottish cat lady. Yeah, it's funny because I can't seem to. Among all the things that have happened with my screen, I can't seem to do all the shit that I used to do. Like shit's just going sideways. Now I've got it. All right, Annette, welcome. Okay, we're almost getting through all the welcomes. Yeah, okay, I think we're good. We're good. So thank you all for coming tonight. I'll focus on my panel now. We kind of did a little catch up at the very beginning, so I think we're ready to roll. What are you excited about most, Jason Estes? Are you excited about anything particular tonight? Oh, there's a delay on your side, bro.
I think I'm excited. To ask you guys some questions if we can fix the delay.
What I would love to know what the hell happened. This is day 2 of delays for Jason Estes, and it does make it a little awkward. We're going to have to figure out what the hell happened.
He's glitching there. I don't know.
Lisa Marie, welcome to the show. Yeah, so we're gonna treat Jason Estes with kid gloves because he's on a delay. So it does make it a little. And what's funny about Jason is he's
I'm gonna unplug and plug back in.
By all means. Let's bring Joe up because we haven't said hi to Joe. Joe's sitting there waiting patiently. Joe, I'll take the parental advisory off your face, even though you really should come with the parental advisory label. But we'll take it off. How are you doing?
You never know what he's going to do.
What's up, everybody? How's it going?
Welcome. I'm going to check something back. You guys talk for a minute. Okay, it does look like my video maybe has been done rendering. This is going to be a real miracle if I can pull off that video tonight. I'm just going to save that project and close it, which will probably crush my system resources for a minute because, again, it's a heavy labor. All right, let's talk about the show. It's Saturday night. Again, everything's wonky. It says that nobody's watching, but that's not true. We got people in the comments, so I have no idea what the room size looks like. But we want to talk about my show and what we're going to do. I'm going to put on share screen and go there and go here and go there and add to stage. There is my welcome screen, my typical welcome screen. We're going to talk about nightly 6 p.m. lives. I try to do this every single night at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, even Sunday when I'm not usually here on Sundays, but the advocate team who's on screen will try to take over in some fashion or form on Sundays when I'm not here and keep the show rolling. And sometimes I'll dial in as a guest on those shows. We're going to have call-in guests tonight. So let me post that link to the screen, invite guests, copy, and post the link. So if you were in the audience and you put that link into your browser on your phone or your PC or your Apple Mac or whatever the case may be in your browser, it'll dial you into our backstage. When you're backstage, I will recognize that you're backstage, and then you'll have the option when you join to turn on a microphone and or a camera. You don't have to be on camera if you're shy about the camera. You can have just the microphone and it'll put you a little custom thumbnail. So don't worry about that. So if you want to talk to us, this is a great opportunity to talk to our panelists. We don't have too much of a set show. In fact, I was really struggling today to put together some show notes, but I have some things to talk about. I have a new song to premiere, like the Pretty Much song. We have another song to premiere. I can't promise it's going to be as funny as Pretty Much, but it's going to be good. I'll tell you that. I got a kick out of it.
It's great.
But I'll have to premise I'll have to give you a little clip of the inside joke that this video has. So I'll show you a little clip of what the inside joke is, so that when you get to the song, you'll know all of that about. Remember the Custody Queens? Custody Queens Off the Clock is a YouTube channel. These ladies, hopefully you've seen them before. Beautiful ladies. They're they're family law attorneys in California, certified family law specialists in California. They've been on Court TV, I think. They've been on other appearances. They got a radio show, and they've been on with me. And we've done a very cool 2-hour thing about my trip to Moscow, Idaho, with my wife and with Joe when we showed footage. And anyways, we aired that just before the holiday break in America on Wednesday, and they're going to premiere it tomorrow. What's Jason Estes doing down there in the lower corner? Yeah, that guy's a riot. Anyways, how you doing? Can you hear us, Jason? Did you get your sound back? Oh, there's still a delay.
I hear all of you, and I just might ask you some questions tonight, if that's cool. Yes.
I'm looking forward to it. Your questions will come in slow and steady, but we'll deal with them. You ask the question and step aside, and we'll answer, because you are on a horrendous delay.
Hey, did you guys see Pavarotti boxing Steve Gonzalez
no,
today on his video? Estes, he's training for you.
Oh no, did he put up a clip about that?
Oh.
He put up a clip, like a animated clip of him boxing Steve Gonzalez.
Yeah, Estes better get past his rib injury, or he's not going to have any chance in the ring with this guy. So we got to make sure he gets trained up and healed pretty quickly.
Yeah, and he knocked out Steve Gonzalez. Estes, you better get training, man.
Oh no,
that's why Steve G put out the video. Yeah,
I get it. I'm
getting nervous, man.
I'm going live. From what I've been told, I'm going live on Dago's show. We're gonna go live with him tomorrow on his show, and I think, oh gosh, I think it's shit. Do you remember the time, Robin? I had it on our calendar. What time I'm going live with Dago on his show? But we're doing a premiere with him. I want to say it's like 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
So that would make it 2 p.m.
Or maybe it's noon, or maybe it's noon Pacific. I think it might be. I don't remember. Oh my gosh.
Let me look. I can look while you're doing.
It's not tomorrow. So that's Monday. Sorry, that's Monday.
No. Yeah, it's Monday.
Monday with him. It's the Custody Queens tomorrow. The Custody Queens tomorrow. My whole schedule is a mess. I believe the Custody Queens tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I think Dago is like 11 or 12 Pacific Standard Time on Monday. And then I got a live with Birdie Bombshells. Shit, I better get my shit straightened out. Look for us. Look for us. I'll put the schedule out very quickly. I also have a website. Go ahead. You got my schedule?
Yeah. Dago is 11 a.m. Pacific Standard, 2 p.m. Eastern on Monday.
Okay.
So
Custody Queens, do you have
the
that
schedule?
And what time is the Custody Queens tomorrow? 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time?
Let me go back. Yeah, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So 6 p.m. Eastern.
Just a quick reminder, I do have things on sale. I have merchandise. This is kind of a limited run because we may be redoing the logo and the slogan for the Devil's Advocates, from Facts Over Feelings, which is on this jersey, hoodie, whatever, and going towards the Devils in the Details, which I've been plugging a lot more, and a slightly different logo. So this may be a limited edition. I mean, the print is already in there, so we can print it multiple times, but we may be moving away from this, or we may keep it around. I don't know. It's kind of it's a slick looking outfit, but anyways, you can get it on sale right now, 30% off, which is a really good deal. It's in my website, devilsadvocates.info/shop. Welcome to A Convict's Thoughts with A.R. Hayes. A.R. Hayes in the house. Welcome to the show. If you want to come on up, brother, go ahead and take that link. I'll put it out there again. And if you just want to chill, it's okay to chill as well. But if you want to come up, you can come up on stage with us. And then what else do we have going on? So let's talk about my cases, the 5 cases that I primarily follow, and every single show I try to do. Wow, the numbers are starting to jump up all of a sudden. It just showed me from 1 person watching to 35 to 85, and now so we're I don't know what the hell's going on tonight, but it's a mess on our statistics. But anyways, I cover Idaho 4. We're going to start talking about that tonight. I cover Charlie Kirk. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk a little bit about Luigi Mangione. Don't really have too much on tap tonight for Lisk or Mickey Steins. Again, I have 5 cases that I cover, but I try to cover at least 3 every single night. So we'll get into that pretty quickly. So Idaho 4 seems to be the draw right now. We're going to start with Idaho 4. That way, those of you who want to move on can move on, although you're going to get coal in your stockings for leaving the show because you should be here supporting us. That'd be cool. I wanted to mention I was looking at various things that Pavarotti had put out, talking about all the people that Kaylee Gonzalez may have had relations with in Moscow, Idaho, including rumors of a police officer, possibility of a coach of some kind, a sports coach at Moscow, a professor at Moscow. And it seemed to me that and it's something that I have said myself, it seemed to me that what Pavarotti was kind of hinting at is that while he doesn't think Moscow Police Department were involved in the murders at Idaho 4, that's not what he's saying. What he is suggesting is it possible MPD was trying to grab information, delete information, take, for example, the SD card out of a GoPro camera and wipe it before Idaho State Police did their investigation because they didn't want embarrassing facts about the idea that Kaylee was involved with the police officer? Or did the university get involved in covering things up because they didn't want it to be known that Kaylee was involved with the professor? And so I wanted to ask you guys as a panelist, because we've talked about this before, but it was kind of a talking point again. Do you guys feel that that's a plausible scenario in this case, that people who aren't involved with the murder have legitimate reasons to lie about what happened or hide things about what happened just because they don't want the embarrassment that comes to the department if one of the girls in the house was seeing a police officer or if one of them was seeing a professor? And so I want to ask your opinion. Step 1, do you think that's possible that happened in this case?
Robin?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely possible that, but at what lengths will they go to keep it quiet forever? I mean, and when you have the G's involved, I mean, now that the gag order and stuff is, a lot of it is starting to be lifted and docs are coming out. And so I think that could be possible. How long that would be able to continue, I don't know.
What about, so that's part 1 of my question. I'm going to go through Jason Estes. If you're not on super mega delay, do you have an opinion? Again, I understand that you generally believe that maybe nobody died and there's extraction, but is there any part of you that says things are being covered up and lied about because they're avoiding embarrassment to the university or the Moscow Police Department? And is that a factor in this case?
I've heard that many times discussed, and I guess rightly so, and speculated on. And I would say yes. I think there's many things that was going on, with covert drug investigations and things like that, and drugs running in the universities. That if that came out in a big way, the university would be embarrassed. And I think the university obviously had to work sort of in tandem with the feds in certain ways to do those covert drug investigations. And we know they got great results from it. And I believe even staging this crime scene to extract those students potentially to continue those drug investigations. And we saw what happened. They did the major bust in Washington State, a month and a half later. So things worked out with the feds, and apparently arresting some very, very high members. Does that make any sense? Or no?
Yeah, no, I want to make sure for people who are like, oh my God, guys, are you just recycling old shit? It's it's not so much that. What I'm pointing out is other content creators. I will watch other content creators and see what they're talking about. And there was a good case to be made, and in particular, and I want to get to Joe's opinion. Again, this is part one of a two-part question. Hopefully I remember my second part of the question. But the idea is that I want to, you know, does it make sense, again, Joe? And let's get the shit off of Joe's face. There you go. Like, no matter where I put Joe, I want to stick stuff over top of his face for some reason. So
trying
Joe,
to keep me in the corner, DA.
I get it, man. It's like, you're too beautiful. I don't want you on screen sharing all those good looks with everybody and making people like, why is that guy so much hotter than DA? But anyways, now, what do you think? Is there involvement? Is there an embarrassment factor that's, you think, contributing to what happened as far as covering up and lying about things simply to avoid embarrassment of the university or police department?
Okay, I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna get a little bit conspiratorial, and I'm going to throw a little love to my boy Estes Crime Maze and give a variation of an extraction operation that I have mentioned before. Let's just say that this is all speculation, that people in the house were involved with drugs, right? And they were keeping an eye on that in the area. And at the same time, somebody in the house was involved with either a police officer or a professor or a coach or one of those variations of these different rumors that we've heard. Now, this is we're just hypothesizing. We're just doing a thought experiment. Let's just say that the university was in a potentially precarious situation, that this information could get out. And they were trying to do this deal with Phoenix University, and plus the reputation of the school, and being concerned about applicants and students, potential students, finding out. Could it be possible that the extraction was to get those kids out of there that may have been involved with some crazy stuff that they didn't want to get out? And this was just a way for them to do that without and diverting attention away from the stuff that was going on. So to your point, would they be doing things to cover up those types of relationships that may have been going on? Absolutely. Now, again, I'm not saying this is my first thought of what happened in this case. I'm just simply putting it out there as different types of things when big money's involved, the lengths that organizations and institutions will go to, you know, as far as to cover up certain things. So I would say absolutely they would try to cover that stuff up. And an extraction, in my opinion, is still very plausible in this case. And, you know, there's a lot of things that point to that house being somehow involved with drugs. I think at this point, it'd be pretty hard to refute that if you're open-minded. You know, Emma Bailey was seen leaving that house. She was associated with that crew. She was arrested for dealing to somebody fentanyl-laced drugs, right? That's someone that died. So we know that there is a drug connection, at the very least peripherally. So if there were drugs going through that house, I'm not even saying that somebody that lived there was dealing, but if there were drugs going through that house, and also somebody in that house was involved with either a professor or a coach or a police officer, it may have been dire straits for the university, and they needed something to get those kids out of there without the real reason being known to the public.
So I guess the extra part of the question, the one that I said, I hope I don't forget the second part of the question, is if they got involved in any way, shape, or form, let's say, for example, it was something as simple as we better delete some text messages because there's evidence that one of the girls was texting a cop that she shouldn't have been texting, and we don't want that out. So we're just going to delete those messages. If there was any monkeying with evidence whatsoever to avoid embarrassment, do you ever hear the phrase in for a penny, in for a pound? Once you start fucking with evidence, you may then have to go all the way because you don't want to get caught having been messing with evidence. And so if it starts to come out that, oh shit, now they're going to ask for this, and it may come out that we messed with evidence, then you got to do another little lie to cover that you did that. Do you think that that could have cascaded? And how far, like you say, how far will they go? Would they allow somebody who maybe didn't have a good case against go down for it so that people wouldn't poke down the wrong avenues and embarrass the university? Is there any scenario in your mind that if they started the process of trying to hide an embarrassing situation, like an officer sleeping with students or a professor sleeping with students, that they in their process of starting to cover that up, they went too far and like, we'll just do whatever we can to make sure somebody goes down for this and they stop asking questions? Or do you think that's that at some point they just have to go, well, screw it, I guess we're just going to have to let the cat out of the bag and let everybody not know that not only was this happening, but we took steps to cover it up? Like, do you feel like they just would go all in at some point?
Oh yeah, I think so. I think if things just kept snowballing, that it would absolutely, keep going, and they would have to keep covering up more and more and more, and then they're involving more people in that, and I just think they very possibly got in too deep, and they just had to keep going. I mean, when we're still seeing it.
I would hate to think that happened in this case. I just thought that it's just worth, I mean, again, I don't want to beat it to death, but I just thought it's interesting because there's been lots of allegations that Kaylee may have been involved with an officer. We know that the reports show that they were looking into how much do university professors make, and they wanted to know where Kaylee was getting all of her money. You can almost put two and two together. Where did Kaylee get the money, and how much does a professor make? Is two weird questions to ask about the same person. And they kept asking questions, not of other people. If you watch the documents, they kept asking all the time who Kaylee was involved with. That was their obsession. Who else did you know Kaylee to be involved with? There was a lot of focus on Kaylee and who she was seeing, that they didn't ask those questions of anybody else in the house. So it makes you wonder. A skeptical person like me would say, maybe you want to find out who knows, right? You know that she's having an inappropriate relationship, so you keep asking, do you know anybody else that she's sleeping with? Because they want to get all the names to make sure, who do we know knows the facts, right? To me, it feels that way. They're fishing. They know that she's got an inappropriate relationship, and now they're asking only about Kaylee. Well, who else do you know that she's fooling around with? And they want to see if those names are out there in the wind. And when they, and they either cover that up or they go, whew, nobody knows about her sleeping with the professor. That's what it felt like to me.
I agree with that, man. I think that they could have been trying to see who knows what,
Yeah.
I also feel this is where I struggle with this case, because on one hand, I feel it's very plausible that there was an extraction operation. But on the other hand, I feel it's also very plausible that people in that house knew things about things that certain people or institutions didn't want to get out. And so this is what I struggle with the most in this case. These are the two things that I wrestle with: an extraction operation versus a hit because big money was involved potentially, and people in that house were a threat to something or to someone that was in a powerful position, either a federal drug operation that was going on, trafficking, and that the feds were somehow involved with, or at least aware of and not doing anything about, or some people in a position of either power or people in a position to cause problems for people in power. So if someone in the house was involved with somebody that was connected to, say, the school or law enforcement or whatever, and things got out of hand, and there was a threat of somebody, let's just say it was one person, and that in the process of trying to take out that one person, shit got out of hand, like it appears it could have in the house, and they ended up having to take out other people. But again, I am very, very much torn between the extraction operation, which has a lot of merit in my opinion, versus I say hit, because if it was planned, and it was coming from an organization rather than just a person, that's what I would consider a hit.
Yeah. And, and again, I don't feel like we're ever going to get the answers to these things. I will say this, that I have got some contacts. I'm not trying to overstate this, but I got some contacts that I'm speaking with behind the scenes that indicate that this is connected to somebody very high up in the political chain in a weird way. And I can see the connection and how it goes there. So I'll be pulling the thread on it. It's hard to see if we could ever get there with this. By the way, I wanted to point out something about, before I move on to the next slide. I did a little searching about Moscow police departments stonewalling everybody on document requests. Remember in the early stages, I put in some requests for documents. Now, people often drop the term FOIA. We should make shit clear. FOIA is a federal process. And when you're requesting documents from the Moscow Police Department, it's not a FOIA request, but it is a public records request. And they are required to give you public records. However, I did a little research, and it turns out that Idaho in particular is one of the worst states in the entire country of playing games with people on public records requests. And it's known that they do the following, including asking for exorbitant amounts of money to everybody so that you get priced out of the market and you can't get it. They also stonewall you and delay and say that they don't have the records you're asking for when they actually do. And that this is something that's known that Idaho does. They play games with people. And so literally the recommendation is with Idaho, you have to sue them. You have to cite the law that says that they are required to provide this information, that they cannot lie, they cannot stonewall, they cannot charge you for information that's supposed to be public. And then you have to cite the law that says you're going to be sued. I'm so pissed at this point that I'm considering trying to find a way to go after them, because I'm getting sick and tired of them. They're known. They are known in the country as one of the worst states to stonewall people and lie and hide, say they don't have information that they do, make you pay for it, and they're not allowed to do so. And the only thing to hold them accountable is to sue them for breaking the law. So do we have to get to that point that we have to go after and sue the state of Idaho, sue Moscow Police Department, tell them, remind them what the law is, and fight it in court? Is that the only way you can get these assholes to do something? And again, I don't like to call people assholes, but at this point, it's 100% certain that they're hiding shit that I asked for public records that we know have already been paid for, and they told me it would cost me $20,000 to start the process, and they wanted $10,000 up front.
Wow.
There's no way they should charge me $10,000 for something that's already been paid for. It's a game, and they're known for doing that. Mm-hmm. So how do you fight that?
That's like the national parks. So that's like the national parks, right? That charge exorbitant amount of thousands of dollars to get information on disappearances, in the missing people in the parks. Anyway, just thought I'd bring that up for some reason.
I mean, that's criminal if you ask me, man.
It is.
As an American citizen, you pay taxes. You shouldn't have to pay to get documents. It should be part of, we are citizens, and you shouldn't have to pay municipalities or the government to get information. I submitted requests in Colorado for geoengineering information, and what they do in Colorado, because Colorado has their own version of a FOIA request. It's similar to a FOIA request, but it's done through the state. And I submitted one to find out about geoengineering funding in Colorado. And they just blew me off, basically.
Yeah.
They just what they do is they go, oh, you need to contact this organization. And then if you contact that organization, they just keep pushing you off. And they know that most people will get frustrated and give up, because people, working people, you only have so much time to deal with this stuff. But this is just all part of bureaucracy.
And
It's
that's exactly, Joe, that's exactly the research that I got. As they said, they know most people will give up if they just keep stonewalling you, because nobody has the time to sit there and hunt it down. And so they play the game with you. They know most people will give up. And conversely, you have to play the long game and continue to file the request, then remind them of the law that says they had to answer the request, and then remind them of the law that says you can sue them for not answering the request. And you got to do, because they think most people will give up, because most people don't have that kind of time and or money to fight the system. So you're right, it's criminal. It literally is criminal, but somebody has to have the balls to sue them. And so I'm at that point where I'm not angry about the whole thing. We shouldn't have to fight about it. And again, here's another thing that I found out. Like, I was doing some research about that answer they gave me. They wanted $20,000 in part to pay for their staff members' time getting my records together. And I found out the law does not allow them to do that. And I can cite the law. It says you are not allowed to charge me for your staff members' time. They're public servants. They're fucking supposed to do that shit already. Like, you do not charge me for their time. So everything they're saying is illegal. It's criminal, and in my opinion, and they should be held accountable. But again, who has the time? Who has the money to fight the system? It's just, I'm angry. So
well, that is one of the reasons why, for people out there have heard us talk about like controlled opposition and limited hangouts and things like that. If you can keep people arguing amongst each other about cases, about politics, about crazy events that happen, then it prevents people from coming together and saying, wait a minute, enough is enough. There's obviously a lot of bullshit going on and we're being lied to. And that is what governments fear the most, a united population. And that is why if you look, it doesn't take much for people to do a little bit of research into the things that governments and intelligence agencies have been doing as long as they've been around. And I would really hope that in the future, people realize the significance of these things, even when talking about true crime cases. Because what do we all talk about? We talk about operations. We talk about the feds. And I really early on in this case, when the FBI got involved in this case, I posted on Reddit because somebody had posted like, oh, the FBI is now getting involved with this case. And I said, you can be sure you're going to be lied to. That's the one thing I can guarantee you. The feds are involved.
You're going to get lied to.
You can expect to be lied to.
Yeah. You know, and to this other person's comment, somebody said, you know, you can write letters. Here's the process is convoluted, because yes, you can go to the state's attorney general and report them for violating Idaho state law. But it's a process, right? You first have to actually ask, and you have to actually be told no. Then you have to respond and say, you can't tell me no, and here's a law that says you can't tell me no. And then you got to have them tell you no again. And after they've done that, then with those receipts, you can go to the attorney general and says, look, here's the date that I asked for it. Here's their response. I asked this again. Here's the and then maybe, and that takes time. And that's why they know people will give up. That people don't have time for that. But that's what they're counting on, is because there's a process. You can't just go to the attorney general and say, I think they're stonewalling me. They're like, well, prove it. So you got to go through the process. You got to give them time. And oftentimes for an out-of-state person, they got 21 days. They can stonewall you. They don't even have to respond to you for 21 days. So there's a ticker. You get to wait a month while they decide to tell you no. So then after you wait for your no, then you have to respond to that, and then wait another month for them to tell you no again. And then 3 months later, you can go to the attorney general and say, hey, look, they're stonewalling me. And then you can wait for months for the attorney general to respond to you. And it's just a fucking nightmare of a slow process. Pardon my French.
I mean, imagine if just think about this crazy idea. Imagine if all the people that follow, let's just use the Idaho 4 as an example, on all the various true crime channels, the people that are out there that question the official narratives, if all those people got together and found one really good attorney, right?
Yeah.
To represent them, that's the only thing that the bureaucracy responds to, is you have to challenge them And because once these, like, for example, if a suit is filed, it becomes public record, right? If it proceeds. That's why settlements happen a lot of times before things go
Yes.
to court with civil things and what have you. And when corporations get sued, they settle because once it gets out, it's in the public record. If enough people came together and organized, then they would get more results dealing with governments, both local, state, and federal. But the problem is people don't realize that that's kind of the approach you would have to take, because powerful entities never tell the truth, ever.
Yeah,
And
and
you have to force them to do the right thing. And that is why the world is so fucked right now, is because powerful people are never held to account, ever.
Right. Yeah, and on top of that, a lot of times they just stonewall until they're out of office, and then it becomes some other new person's problem because a new person gets put in the office, and then they start the whole stonewalling process over again, and they can do that game for decades. So yeah, we've got a broken and flawed system. I want to talk about another issue or two because we're spending a lot of time on this, and I've got a couple more things I want to, including the funny video that I want to show on Moscow. I want to show Moscow. I know people correct me all the time on my pronouncing of Moscow. Anyways, point being is that I don't remember if it was Pavarotti or Atlanta, but I was watching one of their kind of like reviews of Hitler's overseeing of the mental health issue. Do you know if this was Pav or Atlanta that talked about this just recently? But what I gathered was, again, I see things differently than other people. Here's what I saw. Hitler was overseeing the fight about how the prosecution wanted to do a mental health examination on Brian Kohberger. The defense said, no, you can't do that unless we're present. And the judge said, no, you're not. The defense is not allowed to be present. The prosecution gets to bring in their mental health expert, diagnose and critique Brian Kohberger in private. He said, I'll allow you to watch on Zoom, but you can't be present and you can't be part of they get to do whatever they want. And then they get to label him with whatever they want. But here's what was really interesting, the part that I don't hear people talking about. Oh, okay, I thought Estes had his hand up. He's just getting his glasses off. Okay, so here's the part that I thought was interesting, because I read between the lines. What I saw, and I'm sorry I don't have the receipts to show you on screen. Maybe I'll do a video on it if people call me on it. What I saw was Hitler was concerned about the prosecution diagnosing Kohberger with something that would give him mitigating circumstances. What does that mean? In our country, we tend not to put somebody to death and execute them if they've got a mental health problem. If they've got mental health issues, it's cruel and unusual punishment to kill somebody because they had a mental health disorder. And Hitler was trying to make sure, whatever you do not say Brian Kohberger has a mental health issue because we want to kill him. That's essentially what he was literally cautioning the prosecution. Don't diagnose Kohberger with something, because if you do, it might be a mitigating factor and then you can't kill him. And I was just like, holy shit, this judge just seems completely biased. Like, it literally felt like his intention was to warn them that if they give him some kind of diagnosis, they might not be able to execute him. But that's just me. I thought it was, what are your thoughts? Again, you don't have the receipts. So if I was right in my analysis, do you think that that's a possibility, that Hitler had that attitude of whatever you do, don't take execution off the table. We have to execute this guy? I don't know.
Well, Idaho is a pretty conservative state, so they're always lobbying, judges and any elected officials, or they're always lobbying for their base. So that may have been just him lobbying to the people of Idaho, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was bothersome to me because, like I said, I could read between the lines, and he even said the statement mitigating factors, and I went, that son of a bitch is literally trying to make sure that Kohberger doesn't have any mitigating circumstances that will permit them from executing him, which to me is not the role of the judge. Again, when we had one here, that's not the judge's job, is to try to make sure that you can execute the guy. But anyways, bothers me on a personal level.
It'd be interesting to hear your lawyer's take on that too.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to try to pull something up for you guys. I want to play this song and move before we move on to from Idaho 4. I want to play a song for you. Oh, there's a reason why I don't show my screen live for people. Holy shit, that would have been embarrassing, huh? All right, hold on. Where's it at? Ah, here it is. Okay.
I don't know. It depends, DA.
I mean, I know you want to see it, but so anyways, so Cat Farm, who did our song with AI, pretty much, warning again, warning again. The following song may be offensive to a shit ton of people. It's humor. It's not trying to poke fun at people's tragedy. So please understand, sometimes you need a little levity in a serious situation. So I went on a rant one time about Murphy, the teleporting Sasquatch time traveling dog. What's that?
You only went on a rant one time.
Oh, okay. I've been on a rant a few times. I want to hopefully play this. I hope it has audio. Oh, I should remove this and make sure that it's added with sound for sure. I'm hoping that you're going to be able to hear the audio on this because I want to play the rant because it's an inside joke. This is an old video where I ranted about Murphy, the teleporting, time-traveling Sasquatch dog, whatever. And so I want you to hear the original rant, and then I'm going to play the song that as an inside joke that Cat Farm made about Murphy. It's hilarious. And again, not for the faint of heart, for those who are like, oh my God, you're making fun of a tragedy. I get it. It's if you can't handle that kind of stuff, look away for about 5 minutes because it's not super long. But let me make sure I got the sound shared. Okay. There we go. Add to stage. All right. Wish me luck on the sound. Bedroom window looks out onto 1122 King Road residence's backyard. She can usually hear anything going on in their backyard. Murphy, the dog at 1122 King Road residence, usually barks a little bit, and she can generally hear it, which she didn't recall happening that night. Now, that's also super fucking weird. People who are giving audience with testimony said they heard nothing from the dog, which they thought was weird. Other people said they heard the dog and the dog was outside, which they thought that was fucking weird. People heard the dog inside the house, which they thought was super fucking weird. This dog is a traveling motherfucking time warping extra dimensional Sasquatch, I think. Because it can apparently portal through and be in the bedroom. It can also be outside. It can also be loose. It can also not be there at all. Murphy, I want to know your trick, man. Good shit. That dog, who, by the way, is not covered in any blood at all, while apparently maybe walking all around the crime scene of 4 murdered victims, in and out of the house, outside the house, moving away from the house at one point while here, maybe being picked up and put in a car, maybe being brought back to the house, maybe being put in the bedroom. That fucking magical ass dog who teleports around the universe never picks up any blood on him. I want to know that dog's trick. That's a good dog. All right, so that's my rant. You got to hear it, right? Thank you. That was one of my more enjoyable rants. I did love that rant. But check this out now. I thought this was hilarious. All right, are you ready? Here we go.
Not a mark on him, not a hair left behind. He's better behaved than all humankind. He'll clean up his paw prints for some bacon rind. Before you know it, he's gone. He's so streamlined. Murphy, he's a magical teleporting dog. It's Murphy, he's a cute and curly golden demigod. Traveling the universe through space and time. How do you do it? magical teleporting dog. It's Murphy. He's a cute and curly golden demigod. You're such a good dog. You're such a good dog.
So there you go. I thought that was a freaking fantastic. Cat Farm, again, with an amazing lyrical masterpiece with a little AI and a little bit of her own creativity. What do you think, guys?
Fantastic.
Just love that. Well done, Cat Farm. What?
Yeah, Cat Farm, we bow to you. That was dope.
That was amazing. There's other songs Cat Farm has for us queued up, by the way, that I just haven't played yet. One of which is Nothing Happens in Moscow. Oh, look at that little dog. Look at that little teleporting dog.
Oh.
All right. So let me move. That was just a little humor break. I thought it was pretty funny shit. So let's talk a little bit about. Oh, did you have something to say about
Murphy?
This dog?
Murphy's flying all the way in the universe. We got 7 of them.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
7 of
man.
the movies? Holy crap!
Oh my
That's a
God.
cute dog. Can I pet that dog?
I dig that song, man.
pet
That's
that
a good one.
Yeah, that's a good song. I think we're gonna, on my website, I'm gonna have I think we're gonna have some kind of fun stuff area with the songs that Cat Farm comes up with, and maybe some videos and stuff like that to go along with it, because I know people really like that stuff, and I thought it was pretty funny stuff. All right, so let's talk about another case. Let's see here. Stop. Do I want to do that? No, I want to do this. And go play from current slide. I'm not the best at my my graphics and stuff like that yet. I need a producer, but so we're going to talk about, I think, remove and add the Charlie Kirk thing a little bit. Now, so we're going to talk a little bit about Charlie Kirk. We're going to talk a little bit about Luigi Mangione, and then we'll take open questions. Again, for those who haven't seen, again, or whatever, I don't know why everybody's so tentative here, so shy. We have been nothing but super kind to any guest who comes up. I think you can attest to that. We were super nice. Everybody's super nice on this panel.
Super nice.
There's the link if you want to join us and ask a question. And it can be about Idaho 4, even though we've moved on to Charlie Kirk and we're going to move on to Luigi Mangione a little bit to end the show. You are welcome to ask questions about Idaho 4. So don't think that it's over in the Idaho 4 if you want to talk about that. But I want to talk about Charlie Kirk. Now, before I get into this next slide, I want to say this. I'm not doing this for clickbait, sensationalism, or whatever. This is literally something that's out there in the wind, being talked about, generating problems. I'm not the one that created it. I am not following up on it because it's sensational and I want to get it, but I think it's something that I want to talk about these kind of things that happen. So when you get freaked out about the next slide, please relax. It's a talking point for our panel to discuss why this kind of shit always seems to happen in these cases. The story is, and I don't have a slide for it, so let me get that on screen. Hold on. I'm just going to have to pull it up. The story is that, in case you haven't heard it, is that Charlie Kirk was paying $30,000 to a transgender OnlyFans person, and that they have receipts that Charlie Kirk had given him $30,000 on their OnlyFans page and was a big fan of this transgender OnlyFans influencer. And so she's coming forward and people are now going, oh my God, that's not true. It's fake news. Charlie Kirk would never do that. Yes, it is Charlie Kirk. What a hypocrite. He says he's a Christian and he's got all these values, but he's giving $30,000 to a OnlyFans person. So let's just talk about it. Again, I'm not saying this is true. In fact, I personally don't think it is true, but trans influencer claims that Charlie Kirk spent $30,000 on her site and says that she has the receipts. Allegations against the late conservative activist surfaced weeks after his death with screenshots and social media posts stirring online controversy. Weeks after Charlie Kirk's assassination in September 2025, social media erupted with claims that the conservative commentator had secretly subscribed to a trans influencer's OnlyFans account and spent $30,000 US, allegedly using his legal name. Jade Trap Girl, the influencer of the center of the allegations, posted on Instagram that she had the receipts, fueling further online debates. However, numerous posts shared purported showing screenshots, framing them as proof, linking the purchase to an account supposedly tied to Kirk. Commentators emphasized that he had previously criticized OnlyFans and voiced openly anti-trans views. Some social media users focused on the size of the alleged transaction, being $30,000, as well as suggestions that Kirk's legal name had been used during the purchase, speculating that this behavior contradicted his public persona. Basically, what they said at the end of this whole thing is somebody then came forward and said, hey, look, there's no way Charlie Kirk did this. OnlyFans never reveals the name of the people who own the account. Anybody can change the username. So changing the username doesn't tell you who owns the account, and OnlyFans does not tell you who owns the account. So this person cannot, even that influencer cannot see who actually owns the account of the username that gave them money. So she or he cannot, provide receipts that it was Charlie Kirk. So that's in the wind now. Somebody actually went and tried to create the username that this person said Charlie Kirk was using, and the username's still available. So they said, I cry bullshit because that username's available and they don't allow you to duplicate names. So the fact that I can still claim that name proves that this whole story is made up. But I just thought I'd throw that out in the wind because here we go. Who is behind those kind of smear campaign hit pieces? Is it flooding the zone, as Joe says? Just put a bunch of shit out there to make everybody spun up and pissed off and fighting each other about whether it is or isn't real, and whether Charlie Kirk's kids really is his or not, or whether JD Vance is the next wife of, Erica Kirk is his next wife. Is all of this shit just flooding the zone to make everybody pissed off and distracted from the real thing? What do you guys think?
Horse shit.
Fair.
Yeah.
Flooding the zone
with misinformation and talking points to get everybody pissed off so that everybody will just not look in the right direction because they're fighting about whether or not Charlie Kirk supports transgender OnlyFans creators. I mean, do any of you on our panel think that that's possibly a real account that Charlie Kirk was contributing to? Is that possible in your mind?
No, I don't believe that it was. I think it's probably a combination of this person wanting some notoriety, unless there's real receipts, or like Joe said, flooding the zone, trying to keep everybody spun up, because it just seems like when some things start to die down, then they want to keep the vitriol, alive. And so I don't know that I buy that Charlie was doing that.
Exactly.
Without seeing,
Yeah. I don't think it's legit. I don't know that it's going to get major traction, but when I put together my show notes for the day, I look for the talking points of the day, and I look in the news, and that was a news story that just came out about this. And I thought, oh boy, I don't know if it's going to get traction because it just kind of came out today.
Not possible in my mind.
That it's not possible that it happened, or not possible it's going to get traction. Yeah. The Jason Essie's on a huge delay. Whenever I ask him a question, I got to wait for like 5 hours for the answer. Oh, well, that dead air is killing me. We got to get your delay fixed, Jason. We got to get your delay fixed. All right. So the bottom line is, I wanted to put it out there as a talking point. Candace Owens, again, is and Candace with an A, or because I bastardize her name. I was Candace with an I and Owen without the S. Why the hell can't I spell things correctly on my own slides? But anyways, Candace Owens is still getting a lot of attention. More and more websites, by the way, as far as talking points, and I just didn't want to gather together, more and more sites are coming out today. And maybe to Joe's point, maybe this is a smear campaign against Candace. But everybody now seems to be lining up and saying Candace Owens is on a gigantic look at me movement, and she never brings receipts. She constantly, this is what they say, and I don't watch a lot of her stuff. They constantly say she drops, I'm going to reveal something huge next week, and then doesn't get around to revealing it. So you're always on pins and needle with her, waiting for her next big reveal, which often doesn't come. Now, sometimes she does drop big things like it's the French government, or the Egyptian planes flew in, or they're now trying to assassinate me. But then she'll say, I'm going to prove it to you. And then again, next week comes by and then you don't get the receipts proving that happened. So, I mean, I want to hear Joe, I guess, first, because I know Joe is probably watches more of Candace Owens stuff than any of us, on whether you think, what do you think? I mean, are people trying to
discredit? I beg your pardon? Her? I beg your pardon?
Well, you might watch a lot of Candace Owens as well. Sorry. But anyways, Joe, what do you think? Are they trying to smear her and she is legit, or is she semi-legit? I mean, she's like center of attention on everybody. Everybody's talking about Candace Owens more than Charlie Kirk now.
Well, this is the, I guess, the problem with all the flooding of the zone is that if somebody is speaking the truth, they get attacked by operatives. If they're working for the Matrix, then they have operatives that are working with them and for them, and then ones that oppose them just to flood the zone even more. I will say that there's a creator on YouTube, Valhalla VFT. He's a former Green Beret, served in Afghanistan, multiple tours in the Middle East, and he actually had a guy on yesterday or today, I watched the video, who was a member of the French Foreign Legion. And that was one of the things that Candace had addressed as a potential for a hit team, being pulled from. And the guy from the French Foreign Legion, the whole thing is he was a Navy SEAL and he got kicked out. So you can join the Foreign Legion even if you've kind of been kicked out of another special operations force. So he talked about the type of people that were in the French Foreign Legion, and they're highly trained people, because a lot of times it's special forces guys. And for people that don't know, I'm sure most people probably do, special forces guys, especially like Navy SEALs and Delta Force, they're trained assassins. Like, that's part of what they do. They carry out assassinations. Now, the media doesn't speak about that because it's not very pretty to know that we train assassins, but that's part of what they do. And so this guy was basically talking about some of the people that worked with him in the French Foreign Legion. So he actually worked for the organization that Candace had referenced as being a potential place that a hit squad was pulled from. And so, I don't know. I just Wave just posted that Valhalla VFT had that person on. I watch his content. He's covered the Charlie Kirk case quite extensively, and he knows a lot about this stuff, right? Special forces people, whether you like it or not, they know a lot about ballistics. They know a lot about firearms. They know about killing people. And so the whole
they even know more. They even know about arm wrestling, Joe. Excuse me, we got a special forces dude in Canada, Devon Larratt. He's an amazing guy, and he was Canadian Special Forces. I might know a thing or two of people out there. Let's just put it that way. Sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I've had interactions with Navy SEALs. I can't tell you how or why, because if I tell you, I have to kill you. But I don't know. As far as Candace, I mean, we could debate it. I mean, it's hard to know in this day and age if someone's legit or not, because there's a lot of paid
come on, Joe.
Influencers.
Come on, Joe.
I don't know. See, that's the thing, SC Crime Maze. Sometimes you have to be okay with not knowing. You have to be okay with not knowing, because there's a lot of things we're not going to know.
Yeah.
We're never going to
Yeah.
know. If Candace is CIA, we're never going to know about it. If, you know, if
Dude,
all these-
she's got a mug that says CIA. I'm going to get you her mug, and I'm going to get you her sweater if I can afford it, Joe.
I know.
Candace
I know.
Central Intelligence Agency. Come
Yes,
on.
I know.
Dude, you're
I
killing me
know.
tonight. I love it. I love it.
I'm well aware of the CIA, Candace Intelligence Agency, but my point is, we're all getting played on one level or another. So
Yes.
you know, look,
Yes.
if the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So if people are raising awareness to the Matrix in any way, shape, or form, they can't be all bad.
Yeah, well, I mean, and again, I feel like, you know, a lot of people, they don't, you know, the Charlie Kirk thing is a big thing, but it also pulls people into politics. You can't talk about Charlie Kirk without getting into politics, because again, here we are talking about countries. Are countries trying to silence Charlie Kirk? Is our own government trying to silence Charlie Kirk? You get into, is it the Democrats trying to silence, you know, him? Is it the Republicans? Like, there's no way to talk about Charlie Kirk without talking about politics. Makes it a little difficult, because I like to try to steer to the true crime, but you also can't talk about the biggest true crime case in America, which is that whether or not Tyler Robinson really did shoot Charlie Kirk. And I still find every day that goes by that we don't hear more about Tyler Robinson is bothersome to me. Like, think about how much they flooded the zone with Koberger information showing all the reasons why he's guilty for 3 years. It seems like we're going slow on the Tyler Robinson narrative. Where's all the disturbing things proving Tyler Robinson did it like I would expect? There's new allegations out there, by the way. Did you see the allegations that some of the rooftop footage that they showed supposedly of the shooter isn't even the campus in Utah, that they're saying it's footage from another place and shit like that? I'm like, I don't know. I don't have the receipts on it, but there's people saying, yeah, if you look, that's not even the same building. So I don't even know what to think anymore. This whole thing, again, it's like Joe's flooding the zone. We're flooding the zone with all kinds of misinformation and bullshit, getting everybody to fight about what they know. Meanwhile, you have the governor coming on saying the only person who's responsible is Tyler Robinson, and he's in jail and he will be executed for this. And it's a shit show. This whole case is a shit show. Like every fucking case I follow is a shit show. I might as well just call my channel Shit Show, because every single fucking case I follow is a shit show.
Don't you dare give up on humanity, DA. Devil's advocates. Sorry.
I want to stir some shit up. All right.
All right.
Let's go around the horn, and I want everybody, yes or no question. Well, a two-part question. One, is Tyler Robinson the one that is involved? Let's just say he's involved. And the second part of the question is, if he is involved, not even if he's not the quote unquote shooter, was he working for the CIA? I want to get everybody's take on those two things.
All right. You're in charge. Who's going first?
DA, you go first.
So my gut feeling, since it's a gut feeling without receipts kind of question, my gut feeling is Tyler Robinson is involved, but probably not the actual shooter, and it's not the whole story. It's certainly, just like I say in a lot of things, he may have been involved, but it didn't happen the way they told you it happened. So that's my feeling. Tyler Robinson may in fact be somehow peripherally involved with knowing somebody, being in the wrong place at the wrong time because he knows certain people and was there. Whatever the case may be, he's going to be somehow involved, but it's not the full story. That's my take.
Well, that's not a yes or no. You got to say, was he involved? And if he was involved, was he working for the CIA?
So yes, he was involved. And I'm not convinced yet that he was working for the CIA. So I'll say no. So at the moment, it's yes, he was involved, but no, he's not working with the CIA.
Robin?
That's my thought. That's my take. Who's next?
Robin?
Yes, he was involved, and no to the CIA.
Estes Crime Maze?
I agree with DA and Robin. My memory is terrible. Let me think. They said he wasn't involved, and he's part of the CIA. Oh no, I forget what Robin DA said. I don't want to get myself in trouble. I agree with you too.
I think you just reversed
no.
it, because we're saying that, that Tyler is probably involved but not CIA, and you just said I think he's not involved but it is the CIA. So I think you reversed our opinion.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think he's a CIA asset, but he didn't shoot. No. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
Joe.
I think he was involved, but not the shooter, obviously, and he was recruited by the CIA because the school that he went to had a literal CIA program in it, and he was a 4.0 student, and he went for one semester and just for no reason dropped out. I think he was recruited by the CIA, and he was recruited for this operation, PSYOP, whatever you want to say. That's my opinion, and I'm very confident in that.
all right, hold on. Damn it. Because my computer has been reset, I was wanting to do a poll. I'm going to do a poll for our audience to be able to answer the same basic questions. But in order to do that, I got to get into my live, and I got to be able to get onto my live and start the poll from there. And I'm having a problem with my fucking. 1 second. Uno momento, por favor. All right, I'm almost there. Almost there. Because I know people were already answering it in here, but I wanted to give people a chance to weigh in. And one more time, if it doesn't go, we'll just fucking do it live.
Right.
Fucking do it.
By the way, for those who have asked why we keep saying do it live, yes, it's from the Bill O'Reilly freak out, where he was on Inside Edition a long time ago and got pissed off because he couldn't read the teleprompter, and he's like, fuck it, we'll do it live. All right, I think I'm going to do the prompt. I think I'm getting it. Here we go. I'm going to do a poll, and we're going to start a poll. It's a two-part question, so we're going to do it in two different questions. Was Tyler Robinson the shooter or involved in the shooting? Yes, no question. Start poll. That's the first question for the audience. Let's see what they think. Was Tyler Robinson the shooter or involved in the shooting? 60% saying 50%. It's 50-50. 56% no. 60% no, he wasn't involved and wasn't the shooter. 56%, 60%. So it's bouncing around 50-50 for people so far. Now we're going 70% no, Tyler Robinson wasn't the shooter or involved. 70% no. We got 15 votes with 70% no. 65% no. Somebody may have flipped a vote on us right there. Sons of bitches. All right. So it looks like voting is slowing down. So the audience that voted thinks Tyler Robinson is not involved and not the shooter. Let's ask the second question. The second question Joe asked essentially is, let's see, and I'll make sure that I get it right. Was the shooting CIA involvement? Or was the CIA involved in the shooting? Was the CIA involved in this shooting?
You don't get these kind of questions on any other true crime channel, folks.
You didn't say shooting. And
I never said it was a shooting. I just said Tyler Robinson. Was he involved with the CIA?
Okay. So was the CIA involved with Tyler Robinson? Is that the better question?
Well, the opposite. Was Tyler Robinson involved with the CIA?
Okay. Was Tyler Robinson involved with the CIA or is involved? Okay. All right. We're going to do that poll. Quick straw poll from the peanut gallery. See if we're going to get at least 17 votes like we had last time. 100% no. Now we went to 100% no. 10 votes, 60% no. 11 votes, 14 votes, 60% no. So we got about the same number of voting people. So the straw poll from the audience is Tyler Robinson's not involved, and CIA is not involved. 17% or 17 votes say 70% no. 18 votes, 70% no.
Oh.
So Tyler Robinson, not the shooter, not involved, and not CIA. That's the peanut gallery. That's offensive. Peanut gallery sounds offensive. The dentist.
What are they smoking?
What
are they smoking?
Yeah. All right. So let's end the polls. I thought that was interesting. It's a good question, worthy of consideration. Is there any other talking points you guys want to hit on either, Idaho or Charlie Kirk before we move on to a little bit of Luigi news, just to let people know what's happening with Luigi, and then we'll kind of cut out for the night a little bit early. Do you guys have anything else on any of those cases? All right.
Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, Amanda's like, I object to the peanut gallery. I got to quit calling them the peanut gallery. It's the denizens, our den, the devil's den, the denizens, but not the peanut gallery. The peanut gallery sounds like it's like, no, never mind. All right. Let's talk a little bit about Luigi Mangione, mostly to let you know, in case you don't know, upcoming on Monday, Luigi Mangione has got scheduled, I think, 3 days with the possibility of going longer if they need to, where the defense of Luigi Mangione is going to argue against suppression of evidence in the case against Luigi Mangione. Luigi Mangione is the alleged shooter of Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare, on December 4th, 2024, outside of the hotel, the Hilton and downtown Manhattan. Luigi Mangione was arrested in Altoona, Pennsylvania, in an arrest that many attorneys believe, and I also believe, was an illegal arrest. He provided a false identification to a police officer saying that his name was Mark Rosario. They got him on that. However, that's not against the law in Pennsylvania, despite how much people think it is. Until you've been informed you're under investigation by law enforcement. Law enforcement did not tell Luigi Mangione he was under investigation for at least 17 minutes, maybe longer. Nobody read his Miranda rights. Nobody told him he was under investigation. They illegally searched his backpack before he was told he was under investigation for anything. And now comes 3 days of suppression hearings, potentially, where Karen Ignifilo is going to argue that arrest in Pennsylvania was illegal, and you can't use what you think you have, which is a false identification, a false passport, a confession letter, the actual gun, allegedly, although it has not been proven definitively that is the gun. It is a gun that may be consistent. That's the thing in these cases. They love to use words that mislead people. A gun that was consistent with that used in the crime is not the same thing as the gun used in the crime. You understand? So saying that somebody used a 9mm to kill somebody and then somebody else has a 9mm, you could say they have a gun consistent with the gun, until you realize that 9mm is the most common handgun in the entire country, and that doesn't really mean anything. But it leads people down a certain mindset. Well, he had a gun that was consistent with the gun that killed him. So was it the same gun or not? Some sources do say, they definitively say it is the gun. Others say it's just consistent with the gun. Whatever the case may be, monumental days ahead for Luigi Mangione. Will the Judge Caro in the state of New York against Luigi Mangione, rule that the arrest in Altoona, Pennsylvania was unconstitutional? If it was unconstitutional, all things that were obtained in that arrest, such as the false ID, the so-called confession letter, the gun, the notebook detailing his grievances against the healthcare industry, all of that will be considered what they call fruit of the poisonous tree. It was obtained illegally and therefore cannot be shown to a jury. Now, the added problem we have in America is Luigi Mangione is not a never-mind figure. Everybody seems to know who Luigi Mangione is. So can you find a jury who doesn't happen to have already heard that they caught Luigi Mangione with a confession letter and the gun and, all these things? Everybody's already heard that. But in theory, if the judge rules that it was an unconstitutional arrest, those things cannot be presented to a jury. So when they're saying, here's what we've got on Luigi Mangione, it won't be, hey, we've got his own words saying he did it. That would not come into the case. So for what it's worth, I will be watching a X/Twitter feed or two that'll be in the courtroom. They seem to be in the courtroom every single time Luigi's there. So I've got an account that I'm going to watch. If not, I've got a backup account that I'm going to watch. Hopefully one of those reporters, again, it won't be televised. I don't believe that New York is going to televise the proceedings. So we're going to have to, the best we can do is get somebody that you hope is a relatively neutral reporter inside the thing on their phone, tweeting, Karen just said this, the judge just said this, Karen just said that, and he's going to tweet that live while trying to listen to what they're saying so he doesn't miss it. It's a monumental task. I've tried it before. To listen and tell people at the same time is very hard. Go ahead, Jason Estes. What do you got?
Oh, thanks, buddy. I was just going to ask you, DA, what do you think, or why do you think it's not on mainstream media? Maybe Rob and DA, if they feel like responding to that, can too. Again, one more time. Why is an important case like this, I'm adding those words too, monumental case, why do you think they don't have it said in law that these things get televised? I don't get it.
Well, I mean, you're kind of almost asking two different questions. And the reason I say that is because New York has a habit. New York has a habit of not televising those things in the federal court. Now, New York hasn't necessarily said they can't do it in the state court. And this is a state courthouse that's happening. So Judge Caro could rule to allow cameras. However, he hasn't really done that before. So I don't know if he's going to or not. But yeah, I mean, so the question is, it could be allowed in the state case, but it tends not to. But you're right. Why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't everyone in America get to see firsthand what's said in that courtroom? What you're going to get is the same thing that happened last time, which is that the deliberations will happen behind closed doors. Nobody will see it. And then the judge will make a ruling. And then the attorney is then allowed to come out and tell you if she disagrees with what the judge said and why. So that's usually the best we get is the judge will make a ruling. We'll hear what it is. The attorney will say the judge made a fair ruling. The judge didn't. They missed the point. And we have to hope that that's the case. But again, at least we have somebody in the courtroom that's going to hopefully tweet and tell us that things are happening. They oftentimes drop bombs from the thing. Oh my gosh, so-and-so just said this in the courtroom. And you're like, oh my God, that's, but it's a good question. Why don't we have more transparency? Why is it not in today's day and age the de facto rule that we just televise hearings so that everybody can see?
Because as you know, DA, you guys are taxpayers. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So I'll give you my thought. And I want to, and so here's the thing. Laws are old, right? The laws were written before we had the internet and before we had TV, to be fair. So the rule is that you need to be tried by a jury of your peers. And they've defined that a jury of your peers is randomly selected 12 men and women from the neighborhood and the place that you committed the crime. It's supposed to be representative of the area that you're at so that people around you in your social circle would be able to relate to why that happened in your area. So it's not supposed to be a national discussion because people in Arkansas might think differently than people in New York or people in Seattle, right? And so the idea is that it's not a national jury. It's supposed to be a jury of your peers, which they've defined as the locals in your area. So that's part of the reason why I think they lean on it's for a jury in that local area to decide, not for the entire nation. And if you allow the entire nation to weigh in, it's not his peers anymore. It's like it becomes a whole other thing. So I think that would be their counter. But what do you guys think? Like, should we have open and transparent courtrooms that are televised across the world and just open it up for everybody to discuss on? Or should it be just a jury of your peers in the local area and we should trust the system that those 12 men and women are going to get it right?
Robin?
Well, when they do a cakewalk of somebody like this, they should be televising it. But sorry, go ahead. I got a delay. Sorry, guys.
No, that's okay. No problem. I think that they should be televised or at the very least audio allowed. If they don't want people shown on camera for whatever reason, they could at least do audio. So that we could at least hear what's going on. I just don't think in this day and age anymore that, and the thing is, yes, there's a court of public opinion. I am fully cognizant of that. However, it's still going to be up to that jury to make that decision. And if the jury is doing their job, and in some cases, of course, they're sequestered, they're not going to hopefully be able to see what the public at large is saying. So to me, they really should be televised, or at least, we should be able to hear the audio.
Yeah, I agree. Joe, before I weigh in some more, did you want to give a thought on the issue?
Yeah, it seems like a lot of these shady cases I think if there's a lot of fuckery going on, that if it was
Mhm.
televised, then a lot of people have to be actors, and not everybody's a good
Yeah.
actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's just it. Like,
point.
you know, Joe, you make a great point. I'll tell you this: if you read court transcripts, it doesn't tell the whole story, because what
No.
people say with their words is a lot
Mhm.
different than how they said it. And if you watch someone say certain things, you're like, that motherfucker's lying out of the side of it. You can see it. We have intuition. We can see when a lot of us have a bullshit detector, and you can see bullshit. And so the words out of their face may be one thing, but you can often tell, like, that's horseshit. I don't believe that at all. That's why I say televised trials should be allowed, because most of us can look somebody and go, that's bullshit. I can tell you right now that was, but you read it on transcript and you're like, oh, well, what they said was this. And you're like, that doesn't tell even half the story if you had been there. So I'm all for transparency. I'm all for open courts, but I see their argument, at least, like I said, I can play devil's advocates, that a jury of your peers doesn't mean the entire world should be watching. It should be just the people in your local area. And we should trust the system that those 12 men and women get it right when they go into the courtroom and deliberate and whatever. And oftentimes they hide behind that. Oftentimes they say, look, the jury saw things that you didn't see. So while you may be aghast at how they possibly could allow police officers to get away with beating somebody in the street that everybody saw on camera, you weren't there in the courtroom. You didn't see it, so you don't know what they saw. Trust me, they must have seen something that you didn't see. And if you had seen everything, that's what they hide behind. If you had seen what the jury had seen, you would realize. You just have to trust that they saw something you didn't see. But you know what? If we have transparent, open trials, we don't have to rely anymore on what the jury saw. We'll know what the jury saw. And maybe that's the problem. They don't want us to see that. Any normal human being would be like, bullshit. How did the jury come to that conclusion? So,
Yeah.
I mean, of course, you can't let you into the
But they wanted us
room
to see Luigi, of course. What's the word when a perp walked with tons and tons of military special forces around him, or at least cops around him? It's like, and you don't give the taxpayers, you amazing U.S. workers and taxpayers, a break and allow them to be entertained and get the real truth and information on what the hell's going on with this case. At least TV's crazy to me.
You brought up a couple times the perp walk. I want to point something out. This is what I have a problem. Again, for people who think that I support the bad guys all the time, what I'm defending is our constitutional rights. What Karen Agnifilo said about that perp walk was, our laws prohibit that kind of bullshit. The perp walk is extremely prejudicial. They don't do that with anybody else. They don't do that with every other person that killed. There was 300 murders in New York. They didn't parade them with the mayor himself coming down and walking with him with 6'4" tall cops and machine guns and riot gear walking him like he's the most armed and shackled on TV, like he's fucking out of a Batman movie. That shit, we have laws that say that's against the law. That is prejudicial to that person. It makes them look like they're the worst criminal ever and they need to be protected from society. And that tells you a certain thing. That's against the law. That was just one of many constitutional violations on Luigi Mangione that the attorney said, you've already violated my client's constitutional rights 5 or 6 times already. So again, if you're going to be a nation of laws, don't break the law while you prosecute somebody for a law. That's my thing. But
a nation of laws and democracy, right?
Yeah.
Democratic values.
All right. So I think I'm spent. It's a Saturday night. I thought that, should I play us out one more time on Murphy, the teleporting dog, just for shits and giggles on the way out? I thought that was a great song. Cat Farm, if you're still here, thank you so much for doing that. My amazing panel members, Jason Estes, I hope we get this delay fixed. You didn't used to have a delay, and only the last couple of days you've had a delay. Let's see if we can figure something out.
I'll make it up to you. That's all I can say, dude. I'm sorry, dude.
It's all good. It's all good.
Esty, what kind of computer are you using?
Dude, I'm on my phone. The TV was going on with one of the nieces. Could that have affected the internet speed and caused the delay?
Sure.
I have an old MacBook Pro.
The good news is I'm going to be home soon on Monday.
Joe's telling me a MacBook Pro
problem, but I love my nieces. Don't tell them. Yes.
Estes, if you need a new laptop or something, I have an older MacBook Pro it's older. It's a 2015, but it's pretty powerful. I'll sell it to you for next to nothing.
Joe, you are a saint. You're part of State of the Deep, but you are a saint. I appreciate it. We'll talk about that. Thank you for all your support, everyone.
I will tell you this, Jason Estes, when you get a chance, what I would like you to do, don't do it now, don't do it here. When you get a chance, go to speedtest.net and do a speed test and tell me what upload download speed you're getting for your internet. That'll tell us a lot. So send that to me privately in an email or a text message, what your upload download speed is on speedtest.net. I'm curious if you just don't have the bandwidth for it all of a sudden or what, but we'll work that out later. In the meantime, let's just say good night on a Saturday night. Everybody have a great weekend. I'm going to play us out with Murphy, the teleporting dog, I think. That's not it, however. So we're going to remove that from stage. We're going to remove this from stage. Hold on. Remove from studio. Remove from studio. And let's go add video and Murphy. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Hope you enjoy the song on the way out. See you tomorrow. Our panelists will be doing, now again, tomorrow I'm going with the Custody Queen. No, yeah, tomorrow's the Custody Queen's premiere. You guys got the show for Saturday nights, for Sunday nights, live stream at 6 p.m. And so I'll see you guys all again with Birdie's show on Friday. But have a good evening, and thanks, guys, for coming in as well.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Barking all night, but nobody hears. So far in the distance, then gradually nears. A fleeting encounter, then disappears. How did he leave? Did he fly with his ears? Murphy! He's a magical teleporting dog. It's Murphy! He's a cute and curly golden demigod. Not a mark on him, not a hair left behind. He's better behaved than all humankind. He'll clean up his paw prints for some bacon rind. Before you know it, he's gone. He's so streamlined. Murphy! He's a magical teleporting dog. It's Murphy! He's a cute and curly golden demigod. Traveling the universe through space and time. How do you do it? You're key to this crime. Are you here? Are you there? Are you anywhere or everywhere? Murphy! He's a magical teleporting dog. It's Murphy! He's a cute and curly golden demigod. You're such a good dog. Good dog, good dog, good dog, good dog. You're such a good dog.